Hello and welcome back to another episode of Trackside Tips. My name is Storm Dafoe and I am joined again by Fred Gillis, who is the Executive Director of ASHA, and Don McDougall, who is the Vice President of ASHA. Thank you for being with me, and let's talk about Friday's races up at Century Mile.
Do you want to go, Don?
No, I'm letting you start, Fred.
Okay, I'm going to start the card off with what I think is a mild upset. Marlin's Magic. He had a very strong finishing effort last time, and I think he could slip by them and get the job done.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that the track's going to be set up so that it's razor sharp for this weekend. We're hoping we're going to see lots of fast miles. First couple weekends, they had a little bit of weather in and out and stuff, so we're kind of hoping that we're going to see some things set up. So based on that, I'm going to be kind of looking for some horses that might be getting trips other than the first race. I'm going to take a horse that I thought just about lasted on the front. Mike just got a little bit tired at the end, tapped the keg. It's a Comistic colt that I've bet way too many times it's going along and seems to like the front most of the time. Just got caught by Brandon last week, and I'm going to say he's going to switch the tables this time. So I'll take Tap the Keg on top in the first.
Sure, the new mile track certainly sets up different than racing at Century Down.
Absolutely. Yeah. Completely different. And I got to be completely honest, I haven't got it figured out yet. So if somebody else does, what is it? www.helpme.com. Race number 2 is fillies and mares, 2-year-old fillies and mares. I think these are maidens. Sorry, my top of the program's cut off a little bit. I was kind of in between a couple different horses, so I'm going to go with Anna's Featherfoot, Custard from the Sanford Campbell barn. Horse kind of raced really good in its maiden race, got a little bit tired towards the end, but still came last quarter in 28-3. So obviously the first couple quarters went a little bit slower. Second race, pulled first up in the division of the Starburst. Didn't quite race her best. Back in the maidens, I think she's going to do all right in here, Fred.
Yeah, I don't dote. I think a mile sets up, so I went to the 8-horse and Alta Spitfire. I don't think you're hindered as much from the 8-hole on the mile track. I thought Renee was pretty aggressive with her last time. That's not normally Renee's style, but she showed some promise on a decent kind of mile, and a lot of young horses will respond off of that when you're aggressive the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. Third race, also as fillies and mares, non-winners of 2. I'm going to stick with the horse that won first time out. I kind of like horses that win first time out. They kind of can sometimes get in a roll. So I'm going to stick with the 8-horse Miss iTunes, a mystery chase filly for Dave Lamont that just went a really good mile first time, won going away on a track that wasn't perfect. So I'm going to stick with a proven winner and stick with Miss iTunes.
Yes, and I'm going to take the one that Miss iTunes beat last time, Treasure Horizon. I don't think that was her best effort. I've been impressed by her. I'm going to go back to her. I think she can rebound and make a real race out of this.
Yeah, I also think she races better off the back, Fred, than on the front, where Treasure Horizon was last time. So I think Dave might give her a little bit different steer. Fourth race is fillies and mares claiming 5,000. It's kind of an interesting race, some boys against the girls and stuff. Who do you go with, Fred?
I'm sticking to the outside for some reason today. I went with Exceptional. I think she's back down, or he is Don, where with a trip he could sneak past them in that long lane too. I think it's the second longest stretch in North America.
Yeah, the stretch definitely looks like it takes forever. Every time I'm look, I think they should be done, and it's still another 5 seconds past where they go. So it really seems to go on forever. I'm going to take a horse. I'm actually going to go with a girl against the boys. She's beat the boys a couple times in some of these classes. I'm going to take Odds Western 3. Also back down at 5,000, was racing at 7,500 almost the whole time. A horse that I thought going to that track, kind of an off-the-pace horse that would really love that long stretch. Hasn't so far, but I think this week, a little bit different class, a little bit different mix, draws the rail, so doesn't have to be too aggressive. I just think this horse might be a little bit better this week.
Sure.
So I'm going to be chivalrous and go with the girl over the boy. Race number 5 is fillies and mares, non-winners 4 to 6 with some other conditions behind there. Fred, who are you on?
I went staying with Dime Hanover. She should only get a little better. You know, she's here doing real well, and good trainer, hot trainer. So I'm going to pick her.
I'm also going to pick her for my pick of the day. Like you said, in her last start, she won her last start, and she's in the same class, and she came from a group of mares from out in Ohio. I think she's peaking, and I think she's going to really be on her game tonight.
Very good reasoning, Storm.
This is the first time anybody's agreed with Fred in a long time. I'm going to go with a horse called Outlaw Stormy Weather. This is a horse that I just kept thinking, again, would love this big, long stretch. And the first couple starts, track on 2, always close. Doesn't seem to get the job done a whole lot of times, but always close. Fred's horse is going to be 1-9 in here and stuff, but I'm not a 1-9 better, so I'm going to take Joe Ratchford's horse to come and nip at the wire and get a little bit of an upset in this race.
Yeah.
The 6th race is non-winners, a 22,000 lifetime, 7,500 conditioned colts. Fred, what do you think of this race?
I think as much as I hate to, I have to pick your horse. Amboy Dukes, his first start in a claimer. He's been racing what I think is much tougher horses. I think the class relief and that, he should get the job done.
Yeah, I'm going to stay with my horse in this race, too. I don't normally like picking my own horses. This is a horse that we just haven't been able to figure out. As a 2-year-old and 3-year-old, we really thought this colt was going to be something special. He went 1 mile and 57 at Century Downs, came last quarter in 27 seconds, which not too many horses do here, but just haven't been able to figure him out. Has been racing a lot tougher for sure. I know that Keith will be aggressive with this horse driving him. Keith's definitely won a lot of races, so we're hoping he can give him a wake-up call in here and hoping he's at least competitive in here. Sometimes when horses go bad, they don't realize who's beating them, so it's not a guarantee, but I like the horse in there.
Mm-hmm.
7th race, non-winners of 1-2 handicap. Fred, how do you come up with here?
I went, what did I say? It's tough to look past Bearcat Romy's last start. Anytime they're in the same ballpark with time, she's just going to hit a home run.
Yeah, she's absolutely the class in here. Kind of one that intrigued me a little bit, and you don't normally see them go on really fast qualifiers at track on 2, but I kind of looked a little bit towards the 1 horse, Point to the Dragon. 3-year-old Custard filly, unraced, who went qualifier in 2 minutes, and raced against some horses that have actually come back and raced pretty good so far. 3-year-old first start at this time means that probably taking a little bit longer getting the races, maybe some issues, or maybe just needs to mature at different points and stuff. But I think Bearcat Romy is probably going to be the favorite. Not like Fred to pick a favorite, but and Outlaw Spotlight and me, obviously the last couple of starts have been really good. But I'm going to look to a little bit of a horse that might be an exacta filler and try to throw the 1 horse in.
Mm-hmm. I think that my long shot of the day is going to come in this race. I'm going to pick the 5 horse, Starflight. Just the second start with Brent Bodor. Kelly Hort is back up racing her this weekend. She was on the outside last time, but I think that she could give a lot of value for your bet.
Sometimes barn changes are really good for horses, Storm. So I think there's a real good shot.
Well, if Kelly took her again, he probably seen something he liked. He doesn't generally drive horses he doesn't like.
Yeah, absolutely. 8th race, 16,000 claimers with some other conditions on the end of it. Fred, who do you like in here?
I'm going to take Canadian Pharaoh off a tough trip last time and just beat ahead. I think a better trip, better finish.
I'm going to take a horse that's reunited with a driver who had a lot of success with him, and this horse hasn't had a lot of success this year. Appellate, the 3-horse with Kelly Hort back driving. Kelly had this horse and did really well with him. There's been nothing wrong with what Sanford and Brandon have done with him either, but Kelly just seemed to drive this horse really well, where Keith had trouble with him before. It seems like takes a little bit less aggressive driver, so I'm going to say that putting Kelly up on this horse might bring back some race efforts out of a pellet that we haven't seen for a little bit. So I'm going to think this horse might get the job done in there. Probably a little bit better price too. And then the last race is Fillies and Mares, 16,000 claiming with some other conditions. So I'm going to go to a horse that came out of Ontario, has had 1 start back, a little bit of freshening up. Not going to be the favorite again in this. Is kind of a way I kind of roll with horses. I'm going to try Pickles on Top. Most of J.S. Gagne's horses have been pretty good when they got to track on 2 and at Century Mile. They've raced pretty good. Horse that can go either way, can be at the front, can be at the back, and JF kind of likes to drive a little bit off the pace, draws inside, second start, and was racing some good mares down in Ontario. So I think she fits really good with this bunch.
I'm going to go back to a mare you picked last week. That's It is not in here this week, so Big Sure. I think drops and pops, and I know you were on her in the Open last time. Some people might say your turncoat.
Anybody who watched the trip too, she got a little bit of a messed up trip too. She didn't find room till the very end.
Well.
And if you watch Dave Kelly, he's out like 8 wide in the track when he's trying to find some room and stuff down the lane. So it was a little bit messed up. I think she's a good bet. I just like taking fresh horses a little bit sometimes. So
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, Don and Fred. Post time up at Century Mile tonight is at 4:15 p.m. My name is Storm Dafoe, and we will see you at the races.